Let me first of all recognize our presence. Um, Honorable Miriam Blanchard, the Minister for Public Works and Ports, my other cabinet colleagues present, Your Excellency Ambassador Liu, the Ambassador of the People's Republic of China to the Commonwealth of Dominica, Ambassador Steve Farrell, the Secretary of the Cabinet, Mrs. Edwards, our Financial Secretary, Permanent Secretaries, Mr. Lin Bin, Director, Executive Bureau of International Economic Cooperation of the Ministry of Commerce of the People's Republic of China, Mr. Wang, our dear friend, the Chief Economic and Commercial Officer in the Embassy of the People's Republic of China in Dominica, other Chinese delegates who are present, who have traveled from China to be here with us today, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen listening by the live broadcast of this short but very important ceremony. Let me first of all express on behalf of the government and people of Dominica our profound gratitude to the government and people of the People's Republic of China for this very generous offer of assistance to our country, Dominica, following the ravages of Tropical Storm Erica. The Chinese government has always demonstrated its true friendship to our country, especially in difficult circumstances which our country has found itself. They have been among the first to come forward to commit assistance to us. So this ceremony is not a new feature in the relationship which exists between our two countries. As a matter of fact, it is the norm of the relationship which exists between our two countries. I want to also publicly welcome to Dominica, Your Excellency, Ambassador, to be here with us, and to indicate to you that we shall ensure your tenure here in Dominica will be very successful. I can also assure you publicly that this government, which I have the honor to lead, is in full support of the One China policy, a policy which we adhere to, and we continue to offer to the People's Republic of China our assistance, where possible, for efforts towards the peaceful reunification of the whole of China. So you can sleep well as ambassador in Dominica, as long as I'm the Prime Minister of this country, that you have a profound and true friend, and one who will continue to work with the PRC on bilateral issues, but also on multilateral issues. Ladies and gentlemen, the reconstruction of the West Coast Road is critical to our country and to the commercial efforts in Dominica. The Roosevelt Portsmouth Road is one of the most traversed roads in the country, and it experienced tremendous damage during the storm, with 3 main bridges literally washed away, and several sections of the road also washed away, edge failures, and also concerns with the slopes. The Chinese government, not waiting for us to ask for assistance, offered the assistance to reconstruct the West Coast Road. Now, one has to understand in this country that if we are not to receive this assistance through a form of grants, then the only other option which is left to the government is to borrow the money to pay for the reconstruction of this very important road. Now, China is providing assistance to Dominica not because they do not have any challenges in China. It is a huge country with a population of 1.3 or so billion people. And it has its own challenges. I am sure that they could speak to 1,000 things they could use these resources for in China itself. But China recognizes that it has also a responsibility to the international community in the efforts towards creating a sustainable path to economic development. And through an understanding and friendship, a mutual friendship, which exists between our two countries, China continues to provide assistance to us. And for the last 12 years, we've had this relationship. Unlike previous relationships we had with the province of Taiwan, for example, you would see a greater presence of the impact which China has had on our economy. And every single sphere of our society has been positively impacted by the development assistance provided to us by China. The new national hospital that will be constructed, fully financed by the government of the People's Republic of China. The York Valley Bridge is under construction, and I invite the media to go there and take photographs, and you can see that work has commenced. The several dozens of our young people who have been educated in China at the bachelor's degree level, at the master's level, and also at the PhD level. And we also have our medical practitioners, our doctors, who are in China specializing to come back to our country to provide improved medical services. All of these interventions, when you calculate this, you can understand the cost and the investment which China is making in the human resource development of our country. And those persons who have been trained in China are being utilized in various sectors of the economy. And this is why it's important for us to recognize that countries will always have diplomatic relations between themselves and among themselves. But there's something called sincerity, which must be an important ingredient in that relationship. It is no different from a relationship between two people. You must feel that your friend will have your back, and you will have your friend's back. And that's what the relationship is with China, that there is no game playing between us. There is no pretense between us. What we say privately in respect to our support for the One China policy, we say so publicly. And if anybody espouses their support for the One China policy and is not prepared to say it publicly, then it is meaningless. And for us, I believe that Dominica was not conforming to international law, for example, in recognition of the One China policy prior to 2004. And China being a member of the Security Council and having a veto vote places it in a very important position to countries like ours who are not members of the Security Council and who are sometimes not privy to the discussions at the Security Council. But we have been utilizing China as our emissary to raise matters of concern, not only for Dominica, but for small island developing states. The recent conclusion and signing and ratification of the Paris Agreement on climate change could not have been achieved in large measure without the support of President Li, the President of the People's Republic of China. And China has made a firm commitment to assisting countries like ours, the developing world, in building climate resilience infrastructure, building a climate resilience economy, to allow us to be able to survive as small island developing states who are impacted by the effects of climate change. So we want to thank you, Ambassador. Please convey our profound gratitude to the leadership of China for its commitment to assisting small island developing states in efforts to build capacity and to build resilience against climate change and climatic conditions. So we're here today to sign these two agreements, the agreement on the economic and technical cooperation, and 2, the implementation agreement for the China-aided West Coast Road project, post-Erica Rehabilitation, which is taking the process of actual physical work to a next stage. So the next stage is for the commencement of works on the West Coast Road. And I believe I am satisfied that we will get an infrastructure that will withstand the possibility of something similar to Erica happening in our country, God forbid. Because we, the government, continues to maintain the Build Back Better concept and principle. Because if we're to respond to disasters, we have to build infrastructure that can withstand the effects of those disasters when they do occur. So I really want to thank the government of China and to thank Mr. Wang, who is the chief at for the Economic and Commercial Office, who has been exceptional with assisting us in addressing a number of challenges, and who sometimes you do not know whether he is in our staff or he is in the staff of the Ministry of Commerce. So I want to say to you, my friend Mr. Linbin, the director, that you have here in your ambassador, the staff of the embassy, Mr. Wang, exceptional representatives of the government and people of the PRC. And I want you to take back words of gratitude to your people, to your government, for its continued assistance to our country. And we should say, without that kind of assistance, our country would not be able to finance those infrastructure. Where would we get the $40 million to build a hospital? Where would we get the $21 million to rebuild the roads? When most of my country people do not want to pay tax. And those who owe the government taxes are withholding the taxes and sending this money to their foreign bank accounts. Or treating the tax money, which they are collecting on behalf of the state, as their personal resources. And then they want better roads. And they want better facilities. They want scholarships for their children. They want houses. They want indoor playing facilities. How do you finance this if you do not pay your taxes? But we go to countries like the United States and we pay our taxes with no fuss. With no fuss whatsoever. So we ask the IRS, that's all I owe? Can I pay more? But we, a small country like ours, limited fiscal space, we do not keep our commitment to our country. And if we have friends like China who are demonstrating its commitment, its interest, and its concern for us here in Dominica, we have a greater responsibility as citizens and residents of this country to play our part in our continued efforts towards our sustainable development. So we look with excitement for the commencement of the project, and I think all of us who traverse this road will be very grateful for this. And we really want to thank the government of China for this very noble offer of assistance to us, and to thank the ambassador and the staff of the embassy for their efforts towards making this day a reality. And they say a friend in need is a friend indeed, and China is in fact a great friend of our country. And the fact that the Ministry of Commerce, the government of China, has sent an officer from the Ministry of Commerce here in the person of the director is a clear demonstration of the great importance which the government of China and the leadership of China attaches to these projects. And the officer is here specifically to ensure that all is going well with these projects because the Premier of China, the President of China, and the Minister of Commerce of China are all paying attention to what is taking place in our country because of the extraordinary friendship which exists between our two countries. And we welcome you, Your Excellency, to Dominica. We hope that your journey will be successful and that you'll be pleased with what's taking place in respect to the relationship which exists between our two countries. I wish you all the best. And to say to my dear ambassador, we welcome you again to Dominica. And you will, I believe when your tenureship comes to an end here, you will very well shed some tears when you leave it, because you will have enjoyed this country so much, and you will have had the great pleasure of working with this government. You will be very saddened when you leave, but certainly you'll be very, you'll be comforted by the fact that we'll have made great strides with regards to our relationship, strengthening and deepening the relationship which exists between our two countries. I want to thank all of you, thank the media for being here to cover this, and to say to our people in Dominica that we need to have a positive outlook of our country. And we need to continue to speak positively about our country. And those of you who are engaging yourselves in the propagation and the dissemination of all of this unfounded, malicious comments about our country, whether it's about the quality of the water in our country, or whether there is swine flu in Dominica, all of which are not true. We should desist from doing these things. Let us understand that this is not going to only affect a person whom you call Roosevelt Skerrit alone. For many of us in this country, for the majority of us in this country, this will be the only place we can call home. We will be able to call home. And therefore, what you sow, that's what you shall reap. And we, the sensible people in this country, must not remain quiet and silent when there are elements and characters in our country who live within and outside of our country are seeking to destroy the efforts of the committed Dominicans to build in a better, more prosperous and just Dominica. And we must not take pride in propagating falsehoods about our country. We must not take pride in propagating falsehoods about our country. And if a story is negative about Dominica, why forward it? Why have a mass forwarding of this if it's not a positive story about Dominica? You know, if we say that we are a Christian nation, and if we say that we believe in the Almighty Father, whatever name you call him, then why won't we behave as such and behave like a civilized people, a people who truly believe that this country is a Christian nation and who believe in respect for each other and love for your country? We have to change our attitude on this, because we cannot rely on friends like China for our development. They are here to assist us. The bulk of the responsibility rests on our shoulders as Dominicans to play our part, as small as it is. As small as it is, when you add it up, if it's positive, it can contribute to a better Dominica. Thank you, Your Excellency, for this wonderful assistance, gesture in part of China. Because as I said to my nation, to my citizens, to my fellow citizens, that this request was this offer of assistance was voluntarily made by your government to us, recognizing the destruction caused by Tropical Storm Erica. So we really want to thank you for this, and we look forward to not only the commencement of it, but more so the completion of the project. Thank you very much.